go ahead now.
Stop talking about anime.
Come on now, can't help it, my anime man.
So you guys, if you guys have been here the last couple of months, you've seen us come for our other friends' presentations. Last month we were here for Janie's presentation, and I think the month before that, you guys saw Ron the dinosaur guy from the museum came, and we're good friends with Ron as well. And so I told him, I said, we've been here so many times, we should just join the Lions Club. We should come. Don't you get your any ideas?
Yes.
So
I'll get you applications.
very busy people. So, huh?
You don't have anything else to do.
I don't have anything else in my life to do. So in our real daytime jobs, Matt actually is an IT director at Fort Huachuca. I'm actually a property manager and a real estate agent for Arizona Home Stores. But in our, I'm not even gonna say free time because it's our actual business. So the reason that Lori wanted us to come and talk to you guys today is because we actually own a business called the Lavender Butterfly in the mall in Sierra Vista. So Janie happens to be one of my vendors. She has a studio there. She teaches classes there, and we run, it's the rock shop. It's the only rock shop in town. So we have vendors, we have all kinds of different vendors that do all kinds of different things. And we are, like, we sell rocks, we have vendors that sell rocks, and so we do a lot of stuff. But when Lori asked me to do the presentation, I knew that I did not want to get up here and just pitch you guys on my business. Because while I would love it if you guys came to our store, check out our vendors, check out what we do in there, what I want to do is teach you guys about something that's rock related. So when I was like, what am I going to put together? I actually am also the treasurer and the show chair for our local gem club, the Huachuca Gem and Mineral Club. And I did a presentation for the club a few months back. And hopefully it's not too technical for you guys. I try not to get too technical. But when I'm writing classes, when I'm writing presentations for them, it's rock people. It's a club. They pay dues just like you guys pay dues to do certain things. They pay dues to learn about rocks, okay? But I thought everybody loves pretty pictures. Everybody loves bright colors. And two of my favorite minerals on the planet are azurite and malachite, which are both copper-based minerals. And I happen to be from Michigan, which is copper country. In the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is copper country. And we also happen to live in one of the highest, you know, other than Michigan, we all know where Bisbee is. And so one of the highest concentrations of copper in the United States. So I've got, we brought two. So we actually had an opportunity to buy 5 large flat rate boxes of crystal copper from a miner in Michigan a couple of years ago. And so I have 5 large flat rate boxes of stuff that looks like this. All different sizes, minerals attached. Some of it may have silver in it. You guys are welcome. I'll put them over here. You guys are welcome to come look and see what actual just copper mined out of the ground looks like, okay? And the miner that I bought them from mined all of the copper that I bought from them. So I often joke with my kids and tell them, well, now you guys are going to inherit a whole crap load of copper because I doubt that I'll sell it all in my lifetime. So we've got a lot of different samples of a lot of different things. Now there are things that have price tags on them. I did bring items that are for sale, but because I'm not going to bring stuff from my personal collection, a lot of it's box stuff anyways. So if you guys find something that you do want to buy, you can buy it for the price on the tag. You can come into the shop and buy it today. There's no tax. This is not a pitch to try to get you guys to buy anything, but it just so happens that I sell rocks. So rocks with price tags on them are what you guys get, okay? So anytime you see the blue and the green, you've got blue and green copper minerals come in any shade of blue or green, okay? So you've got bright blues, light colored blues, all the way to your darkest greens, turquoises, everything in between. So this one is actually a turquoise with some malachite, probably some chrysocolla, which is everybody thinks chrysocolla is turquoise and it's not, but it's kind of like run-of-the-mill turquoise colored rock, and there's various grades of that, but yeah, I'll just put them all over there. You guys can look at them if you want. Now this one, you guys, everybody can see this bright blue, right? Even everybody in the back can see that bright blue color. And the bright green, but the bright blue is my favorite. So the azurite is my absolute favorite mineral on the planet, and it's not because blue is my favorite color. My favorite color is actually purple. But the bright blue of the azurite, I mean, there's not another stone on the planet that looks like this. And it comes in the presentation, I'll talk about how many different forms it comes in, and it's a lot more than you guys are gonna think, okay? I mean, I'm just like gonna stand here and just look at it all night long because it's just absolutely gorgeous. So there's some of these pieces are a little bit smaller, it's harder to see, but you can see different forms. I know in the back you can't see this, but this one in the box is one we just got in a collection that we bought, and it's the spray version of azurite, and then there's another kind of, the bubbles, it's botryoidal, so it's like bubbly, that's the crystal structure is the bubbles. And again, you guys are welcome to come over, open the boxes, you can pick them up. Just understand that copper minerals in their raw form, copper is one of the most toxic things on the planet. So I'm not saying that it's gonna kill you, but don't lick your hands, okay? Don't lick your hands. You don't wanna be doing any of that, okay? So these three pretty green pieces, these are malachite. So this one in my left hand is from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Azurite, malachite occur all over the world, and some of the most accessible malachite for us is in the Congo. So I would love to be able to sell Arizona, Bisbee, Ray mine, you know, name your mine in Arizona or Nevada, I would love to be able to sell it, but to get my hands on it at a good price just does not happen. I have to buy a collection that has a piece in it, and then if it's actual determined Bisbee, it's not cheap. Bisbee turquoise right now is going for about $3,500 a pound. So it's very expensive. But we wanted to show you the different crystal structures that malachite can take on as well, because my presentation is on azurite, but we wanted to show you because, you know, malachite can be layers, it can be bubbles, it can be all different kinds, and if you cut it, number one, you have to be very careful if you cut malachite because it is very toxic. So you do not want to cut it without water, without moisture, without a mask, a respirator. You don't want to do it. It's nasty. It's like working with asbestos, okay? You got to really be careful. But you also have to know how to cut it, because if you cut it in the wrong direction, it'll just fall apart and you won't get anything. So that's where the layers come in, okay?
And these ones are from Arizona.
And those ones are from Arizona. So I've got a couple of little baby specimens that, just to show you guys, we've got a couple of little malachites in here and a couple of really shiny little pieces of copper in here. The copper always in my shop will come from Michigan. I actually have only ever come across one piece of Arizona copper in any collection, and it was from the Ray mine, and it came and went so fast. I can't keep it in stock, but Michigan copper is what I saw.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and people are like, why do we live in Bisbee? We live near Bisbee and you sell Michigan copper. That's because that's where I'm from. Yeah. And that's what's cheap. I can get it cheap. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Which means I can sell it back to you guys cheap. So this little piece of crystal that you guys probably can't see is a crystal of azurite from the Milpitas mine in Mexico. And it's a small piece that we got in a collection, and it's so dark blue that there's a lot of really cool azurite mines in the world. One of them is the Sumeb mine, but the Milpitas mine in Mexico is my favorite because of the dark blue. I mean, the mine didn't last very long down there because of the fact that the miners kept walking out with azurite in their pockets. So the mine didn't last very long. I mean, you almost can't even see it with that. It's so dark blue in color, but it's my favorite azurite mine if it was still in existence on the planet. So I couldn't not bring a piece of Milpitas with us. So, and I'm not even sure what this little...
That came off the big one.
Oh, it came off the bed. I'm like, what is this thing? That has no color to it whatsoever. Okay, all right. So, what I'd like to do is I'd like to teach you guys, take you guys down a little bit of road with some blues, some greens, some color, and teach you guys a little bit of something
You want the lights up?
about my favorite gemstone on the planet. Lights, please. Ooh,
They got them, okay.
it's so pretty. Now, I will say that on a yellow wall, it's not going to come across as bright as it would on a white projector. But that piece of azurite happens to have come out of Greece. And I have no scale on it, but guessing looking at it, when I did the presentation, I'm guessing it's no bigger than that little piece that I just showed you. So what exactly is azurite? So it's a copper mineral that we've learned already, okay? So the Mohs hardness, is there anybody in here that does not know what I mean when I say Mohs hardness? The Mohs scale. Has everybody heard of the Mohs scale?
No.
Okay. So on the Mohs scale of hardness, it's something that's used to talk about rocks. So 0 is like a talc. So like super soft, super powdery, and then the one that we use, that most rock people use, goes up to 10, which, as we all know, what does everybody think the hardest mineral on the planet is?
Diamond.
Okay, well, it could be kryptonite, but diamonds. Diamonds are a 10, and that's rumored to be the hardest mineral on the planet. It is not. There are some, and I don't have a presentation today about that, but there are some that go 11 to 12, not common, nothing anybody's ever heard of, nothing I had ever heard of when I did research on that, because I did a presentation on that for the club as well. So knowing that talc is a 0 and diamond is a 10, when I say that azurite is a 3 to 4, does that tell you guys it's kind of soft or it's kind of hard?
Kind of soft.
Right? Yeah. So azurite is not an ideal mineral to do a whole lot with. It's a good specimen, right? I've tried cutting it. I've tried doing a lot of things with azurite that I've gotten, and it's just not very stable. You can find it in jewelry once in a while, but they've probably put so much, they've stabilized it, which means they've used a resin or an epoxy or a glue or some kind of stabilization inorganic material, usually with a vacuum pulled through the crystal to get it to cut. And I've tried that too, and I had a piece about this big that I paid $50 for that I tried to stabilize it, doing it the way I do everything else, and when I went to cut it, it disintegrated. And my heart shattered because it was such a beautiful rock. And then one of my buddies gave me a really big hard time about it. He's like, why did you cut it? So when it says vitreous luster, it's glassy. Vitreous means glassy. So most of your azurite specimens are going to look, they're going to have a glassy finish to them, okay? So why is it called azurite? Well, azure means blue, right? So, and then the ite, everything's got to be an ite, right? If you find a mineral and you are the first person on the planet to find it and you go through the process of getting it cataloged, or if it's a fossil, I actually know somebody who did this with a fossil, it'll be like your name with like ite on the end, right? So, azurite, and I'll explain what pseudomorph means. So azurite can pseudomorph to malachite. So azurite only comes in blue, but malachite comes in green. So azurite over time will degrade, as all organic material is going to do, okay? But when it degrades, it actually degrades into malachite. So when you see pieces that have azurite and malachite on them, it's technically two different minerals, but the azurite, the blue, is degraded into the green. And I've often wondered why I never see azurite from the Congo. I've never seen azurite from the Congo. I've only ever seen the malachite, but that's because where they're digging it, the azurite degraded and had enough time to degrade into the malachite. So it's a really interesting phenomenon, and there's not a lot of minerals that start as one and end as another one over time, and that's millions of years. That's not like today, okay? And azurite also does not fluoresce, so like when you put a black light on something and it glows, that's what fluorescence is. Azurite doesn't have that property. So the Persian, Laz word was the Persian word for the mineral, alluring to its blue color. So the one on the left is from Germany, the one in the middle is from Greece, and that's got some spray action to it. And then France, in 1824, French mineralogist Francois Sulpice Boudin changed its name to azurite. So that French mineralogist was actually the one that changed its name. And that mineral in the bottom right was actually a French mineral. It occurs all over the world. And I've had the extreme opportunity and honor of mining azurite over in the Gleason area at the old Tiffany mine, and there's not an experience like it, in my opinion. to pull that bright blue stuff out against the clay colors. And if anybody in here has ever dug up anything and it was, you know, you dig up a rock and you find a rock, you didn't go into a pile, something that blew my mind when I first realized it is if you've ever actually dug a rock out of the earth, you were the first person in the history of human creation to see that. And that's really cool, that's really a special thing, because my belief, not saying it has to be everybody else's belief, but my belief is God put those minerals in the ground to create those crystals, and we get to be the first humans to see them. So I'm not a chemist. So I am in the club with a chemist, and I did not bring him, and that's fine. But azurite is found largely in oxidized portions of copper, so as oxygen hits it. And it's a secondary copper mineral, so it's not the first thing to form, is what I'm saying. It's not the first thing to form. So, and those are pretty, like those are all just, and I mean, you could see the different crystal formations. So, we've talked about a lot of this already. It can be very brittle. When it says perfect cleavage, what that means is if you hit it, there's a plane of an axis that it would separate perfectly. That's what that means. And if it fractures, conchoidal means circular. Glass is the same way. So if it's broken, the crystal will likely cut with a circular form. Don't even get me started on specific gravity, because that's not something I even understand myself. So azurite has more than 100 different forms. So based on what you've seen here, based on what we brought, knowing that it comes in over 100 different forms, I mean, you could probably never see the same form twice. And these are just some different ones that I put on the structure on the slide, but so they can come looking like tabs, which is what that one is. It's tabular, so it's kind of a thin, like it looks like a tab. Botryoidal are those bubbles that I talked about. Wavy faces with the striations, so you can have, you know, what looks like the striations through the crystal. Prismatic, so it can be geometric. Blueberries. So azurite blueberries are just, they look like little blueberries. They're not glassy looking. They're really cool. You can have some that look like hairs. Minerals that look like hairs are crazy to see them. You'd never realize it was actually a mineral. We've got a specimen, a different specimen at the store that looks like hairs. It's just crazy looking. And then flat round, so it can be flat round structures, kind of like almost like a UFO. So this particular specimen came out of Germany. So this is a pic, and I put a lot of pictures in here. So azurite with malachite, some chrysocolla, the tenorite is black. This came out of the Morenci mine. I just wanted to put a lot of cool pictures in here. So the lower dumps of the Tintic mining district in Utah. So you've got the azurite, the chrysocolla, which there's not too much of that in there. It would be a turquoise color, and then the white is a quartz. And you can see the striated faces. You can see that.
And you can see that on the Milpius one we have.
Yeah, and you can see that on the Milpius one. So this is that prismatic crystal. So this is from the Sumeb mine that I talked about. That one, the azurite in the Sumeb mine tends to have a little bit of a purple hue to it, which you would think would be my favorite, but of course I'm just a Milpius person. That's just the way that goes. So this is kind of the blueberry formation. This one kind of looks like Mickey Mouse, but all the blueberries that I've seen have all been separate. I've seen them tiny like peas. I've seen them big like grapes. And this is out of New Mexico. And you can find every crystal formation for azurite in Arizona in different mines. So these are some of the hair-like azurite crystals. So this is from Greece. And that one's probably really tiny because they blow them up so that you can see them really well, but I bet all of these specimens are super tiny. What they might call a micromount. So here's that flat round formation, so it looks like just a round splat on the rock. And that's what they would call a surface formation, but it's flat and round, and that's the way the crystals formed. To have over 100 different formations for one mineral is just outstanding. Because you don't see that in a lot of other minerals. Like quartz, it's like points. Yay, great, all different colors and points. Beautiful, but just one crystal formation. So uses for azurite. So pigmentation, obviously, if you can get it powdered down, you can put it in resin or whatever. The ancient Egyptians used it for pigmentation, and they mined it on the Sinai Peninsula for the copper, and it's still used for that. Azurite is a really great natural pigment. I would not put azurite, little tiny azurites in your fish tank though, because the copper will leach out. I had somebody actually ask me that one day, and I'm like, you know what, the copper's gonna leach out and it's gonna kill your fish. And it can be made into beads, but again, you have to stabilize it. It's really, really difficult to find the azurite malachite combination beads. I use them in my jewelry making, and it's really difficult to find ones that are authentic, that aren't made of plastic, aren't made of resin. It's really hard to find really good ones. It does make a good jewelry addition. You can see in the top right, you can see the azurite cabochon. That's what they call the stones that are set into jewelry. But again, the ones that I have seen are so out of control expensive that I'm like, no thank you. And that one actually lays across 3 fingers. That one that's up there. But it's still pretty, nonetheless, even if you can't wear it very often, it's still beautiful. So azurite comes in a lot of other names as well, depending on where it's being found. So it can be called armonite, azure copper, or blue carbonate of copper, blue malachite. I've actually never heard that one, and I don't think I believe it. Chessy copper, chessy light, lazurite with an S, and then blue spar. But blue spar would indicate that maybe it was a selenite, because there's a satin spar that's a selenite. So I wouldn't use blue spar. But that left hand mineral is azurite, malachite, and chalcolumite out of Bisbee, that's just beautiful. And then the right side is from England. So then we got a couple more sets of photos. Top left from Germany, so you've got some malachite spirals and stuff in there. Azurite on barite in the middle, and then azurite with malachite from Bisbee, but the malachite's really light colored, it's at the bottom. That's gorgeous. So that's what I have for you guys today. Hopefully it wasn't, I just like the blueberries. Hopefully it wasn't too terribly technical and you guys learned something. I don't know what you thought you were going to learn today, but hopefully I can, teach you guys some things. Does anybody have any questions about the stuff that we learned? No?
The process of formation, is it igneous or metamorphic?
You know what? I am the wrong person to ask that question, I'm sorry. But will you Google it for me and ask and find out? Yeah. Yeah, I've got a buddy that's a geologist and would know the answer to that, but that is not my realm of expertise.
Well, it's obviously not sedimentary, so
Okay.
we only have 3 choices.
Okay, then you got 2 choices left, huh? You got 2 choices left. Yeah, I didn't go to school for it, guys. A lot of people think that they're like, well, did you go to school? Do you have a geology degree? Clearly, I would know the answer by the geology degree. But I did not go to school for it. We've been in business.
Igneous would be direct from volcanic activity.
Okay.
Metamorphose is from heat and pressure.
Then I'm gonna go with
It's not categorized as any of the 3.
It's not categorized.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
It's not categorized as any of the 3.
Oh,
That's not possible, there's only 3
What
categories.
explanation does it get?
I didn't know.
It's
Okay.
a chemical precipitate.
Oh.
Pardon me?
It's a chemical precipitate. So it's
So
not
it's
something.
It's precipitated out from a chemical process.
So, and
Right.
that's where, when I
Right.
say that azurite's a secondary mineral, that makes sense though, because it's secondary to the copper that's already being mined in the earth.
And most of
So,
the reason why it turns out
it's-
though is because of the oxidation, right?
Yep, exactly, and
Having to
it's,
deal with oxygen.
it's got a cousin called calcanthite that is a bright turquoise color. As water comes out of the copper minerals, it runs down and the crystals will form. And calcanthite is actually exceptionally toxic, bright color. You wouldn't use it for anything other than a specimen in a box. And so, it's a close cousin to azurite, and so that makes sense that it's a secondary mineral, it's not a primary mineral, it's not like a quartz, or a, you know, any of the other minerals that are, you know, primary minerals, it's a secondary mineral, so I guess that makes sense.
It's a leachate essentially.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, when we started our company about 10 years ago, you know, we started our company almost at the same time as I started with the club back in 2016. And so while we haven't been in the mall 10 years, we've been in the mall just over 3 years. We did a lot of shows before then and we got tired of it. But right away when I got into the club and I was learning about minerals, because I didn't know nothing about it. And over time I've had to learn, I've had to teach. I was the president of that club for 5 years. So I had to teach people, and I have to know what I'm selling in my store. So when somebody doesn't know, I'll look it up, just like I did. I don't know
Yeah, why
everything.
not? Yeah.
I don't know. And so I'll look it up, but when you learn stuff, you pass it on to other people, and then they can learn, and then they can pass it on to other people too, right? That's kind of what we're supposed to do. So, yeah, I'm really glad that you guys allowed me to come in and talk to you about my favorite minerals. And you guys can come look at all these things over here. And I'll answer any questions I can. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Oh, yeah, we have little gifts for you guys too. Yeah.